You're watching QTV broadcasting from the Gambia, and this is the news with me, Ansumana Esonyasi. First, the main local business and international news headlines. In local news, the Gambia Transport Union rescinds its decision to prevent Senegalese commercial vehicles entering the Gambia from midnight tonight. The president of the Supreme Islamic Council, Muhammed Lamin Touray, tells the TRRC that his only problem with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is about them calling themselves Muslims. Residents of Salagi effected a citizen's arrest of a man they allege tried to rape a local woman. In international news, a volunteer ship cruises the Mediterranean picking up stranded migrants. In Turkey, businessman and human rights activist Osman Kavala is re-arrested on different charges minutes after his acquittal. In sports, we hear who came out winners at this year's prestigious Laureus World Sports Awards. And now the local news in detail. The Gambia Transport Union has rescinded its decision to prevent Senegalese commercial vehicles entering the Gambia from midnight on Wednesday. The decision to close the borders was made on Monday as a result of a transportation standoff that has prevented GTSC buses from operating in Senegal. Our reporter Babukar Sise spoke to the Transport Union's president for clarification.
The decision by the Gambia Transport Union to close the borders between the two neighboring countries came after Senegalese civilians blocked GTSC buses from moving into Senegal with passengers. The situation came to light following an undercover operation last week, which was filmed and broadcast by QTV, in which GTSC bus and union members joined a bus which was attacked and prevented from entering Senegal. The Gambia Transport Union also say they are only intending to defend the Gambia's interests and will no longer be observing the ECOWAS protocols on free movement of goods and people between the Gambia and Senegal. The president of the Gambia Transport Union, Omar Cisse, explains the reason why the union took steps to implement a commercial transport blockage between the two countries.
Our passenger vehicle going to Senegal have series of challenges to cross the border since we can say 30 years ago. As far as my tenure of office is concerned, we have been consulted with the Ministry of Transport to discuss about the situation. Up to 2018, the Presidential Council meeting between Macky Sall and Adam Barrow, the two governments signed an agreement to promote the free movement of goods and people within the ECOWAS, especially Gambia and Senegal. But after the signing of that agreement, we are seeing our counterpart are not respecting the agreement. And they don't respect the ECOWAS protocol. And we believe the Gambia is part of the ECOWAS. As far as the ECOWAS convention says, signed by the Gambia is a signatory to the ECOWAS, we need to have free movement of goods and people. The Gambian commercial vehicle have right to load in Gambia, go to Senegal, Senegal the same.
The Transport Union president feels that the Gambia is being picked on and been discriminated against by Senegal.
The Malians are coming to Senegal without no agreement, through ECOWAS protocol. The Guinea-Bissau the same and Guinea-Conakry. Why Gambia? We used to call ourselves we are one, but we cannot call ourselves as a one in verbal. We are the one to take the actions. No, everybody agree with me. To Gambian, if you are a Gambian, to reach in Senegal is very difficult. No, I think Gambia is a sovereign state. That's why yesterday we celebrate our independence, 55 years independence. So we need to respect that.
He went on to say they are giving Senegalese authorities just 3 days to solve the problem, and further explains the circumstances that led to the temporary change of mind.
What we agree, the President Adam Barrow ready to send a delegation to Senegal to discuss the situation. The Ministry of Transport is going in Senegal, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Interior and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This high-power delegation with some senior authorities. So we are sitting and we are waiting for them. For me, I think it's not necessary to send the delegation. Because we are not the offender, Senegal is the offender. We are expecting Senegal to come in here and beg us. But through the respect and the honor we have the government, we give you another last chance to use the diplomatic channels. Now against Friday, we know.
Mr. Cisse further mentioned that the Gambia Transport Union has previously used diplomatic channels by organizing a meeting with Gora Huma, the Secretary General of the Union des Routiers du Senegal, to amicably solve the problem, but these proved fruitless. According to reliable media sources, Gora Huma has strongly criticized the maltreatment of Gambians at the borders with Senegal and urges Senegalese authorities to respect the ECOWAS protocols to ensure free movement of goods and people. Babkar Cisse, QTV News.
The president of the Supreme Islamic Council, Muhammed Lamin Touray, on Wednesday appeared before the TRRC to respond to various accusations about the council's activities during the 22 years rule of former President Jammeh. Among other things, Imam Touray told the commission that the only problem with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is about them calling themselves Muslims. Babu Karsi tells us more.
The Supreme Islamic Council president began his testimony with a background of his educational background and the establishment of the Supreme Islamic Council in 1992. He told the commission that the council has no power to force anyone to pray, fast, stop people from preaching or calling people non-believers, as it is not in the constitution of the Islamic Council, neither in the laws of the country. He confirmed that the Supreme Islamic Council is not set up by an act of parliament, but is a non-government organization formed by Muslim leaders in the country. On the Supreme Islamic Council's relationship with the former regime, Imam Touray said the relationship with Jammeh was the same as with President Jawara and Barrow in executing their duties as leaders. He agreed that forcing people to pray and fast at a particular date, as former President Jammeh did, is wrong and un-Islamic.
Ndigal alkali ise alkalo li amaro di alkalo la ñu daha iliman yoyu ñu fa ñoo nekku ima sa yo ñu joxe sen bopa iliman ñu ne ndigal la ñu han nañ leen daha ci sen mos bi odna ko tej wo satel min ya lon ko la al mamol mu sa yo leti ni ma wo ke mbe al fenkol sorona minister interior joxna la instructions interior minister polisol bunda nga yamaro dilal. What we have just heard from Yaya Jammeh. We heard him say that everybody must pray a particular day. Was that lawful? It is not in line with the Sharia because the Sharia does not force anyone.
On the issue of Sheikh Muhyiddin Haidar's arrest by Yaya Jammeh for refusing to observe Eid prayers on the same date as announced by the Supreme Islamic Council, Imam Touray said the arrest was not only in relation to refusing to pray, as many others didn't pray on the same day and were not arrested, as he believed there are many other issues involved in his arrest. On the issue of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, the Imam said he is not aware of the sect being refused to practice their religion, neither the proclamation that they should be banned, saying the Supreme Islamic Council has no power under law to ban anyone. However, he stressed that if they did have the powers, they would not allow them to practice. Imam Touray said the only problem they have with them is calling themselves Muslims, as according to him, they don't practice Islam as stated in the Quran and the Sunnah. On the allegations of the Supreme Islamic Council banning preachers and sermons, particularly Bakausu Fofana, Imam Touray said he only recalled meeting Bakausu twice, with one meeting taking place at State House. He said they banned Bakausu to save him and the country because his way of preaching and insults by him. On the matter of issuing licenses to preachers in the country, the Imam said former President Jammeh gave them those orders.
Who gave you the authority to be licensing preachers in this country?
About the president there.
It came from the president.
He said if one was to follow the work of the Supreme Islamic Council from inception to date, 85% of their work is positive and only 15% or less of their work or decisions would be questioned. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
A 26-year-old man is in police custody for allegedly attempting to rape a woman in Salagi. The incident occurred on Wednesday afternoon while the woman, a mother of 3, was at home. Amadou Oba reports.
The suspect, a 26-year-old man who claimed to be a native of Kombo East District in the West Coast region, was apprehended in a citizen's arrest. The victim, Malado Jallo, explains that she was doing her normal domestic chores with her children around midday when the suspect entered the compound and requested to use their toilet. She informed that they don't have one. It was at this time that the suspect then requested water. Malado said at that moment she became suspicious of the suspect's appearance and approach. Mrs. Jallo further explained that the suspect left but returned a few minutes later to return the water container.
I told him that my husband has gone for a walk and he could not sit here because I don't know him. He was moving around and that scared me a lot until finally he left the compound. But it didn't take long when he returned again. He jumped over the fence and came right behind me as I approached the kitchen. He was holding a knife and grabbed me from behind, saying he would stop me if I shout. Fortunately, I used my physical power to fight back and shouted, which scared him and he ran away.
Ibrahima Jallo, the victim's husband, states that this is the second time such an attempt has been made on his wife. He further explains how the suspect was arrested. She was just explaining to me when the suspect crossed the road and she shouted to me that he was the man. I chased him with the help of the neighbors. We grabbed him and his knife and his keys dropped off. He was still fighting to escape. I was advised to take him to the police. It is never safe here in Salagi. This area is always quiet and that is why I never have a steady mind when I go to work or even when I travel. I live with my mother, my wife, and 3 children. The suspect, for his part, explained that he was on his way to the shop when he heard the woman shout at him, and suddenly people chased and grabbed him. He rebuffs the claim that he was in the compound, claiming never to have met the victim. According to him, he came in search of a masonry job nearby and was just going to the shop. Kekus Kalma, a witness and a neighbor who spent barely 2 weeks in the neighborhood, described the incident as horrible.
So I was inside, taking a nap before going for work, and I heard the sound, a screaming sound, so I had to rush out. And I saw the guy was running and the other guy was chasing him, which happens to be the husband of the wife. So I asked him, what's the problem? He said, this guy tried to rape my wife. I said, okay, now, you don't want to take your law into your hands. Let's calm down the situation. We call the police and then involve into this issue.
The suspect was taken to the Bruceby police station where further investigations are ongoing. Reporting for QTV News, I am Amadou Oba.
Researchers from the University of the Gambia on Wednesday held a national policy conference on financial inclusion in the Gambia. The event brought together representatives from Q-Money, Central Bank of the Gambia, and the UN Capital Development Fund. I covered the event and this is my report. Held under the theme Digital Financial Services and Financial Inclusion in the Gambia, this national policy conference is led by a team of 4 researchers from the University of the Gambia who received a grant to conduct a study on mobile money adoption and usage in the Gambia. In partnership with Q-Money, researchers present their findings to stakeholders for deliberations. Speaking at the meeting, Sirandao, head of mobile money at Q-Money, says the Q Group is a major investor in technology in the country. However, she adds that lack of data is one of the main challenges confronting digital financial service providers in the Gambia.
The challenges now come into the other areas whereby you're and actually going to the next level where the awareness of the service being there. The FinScope survey that both Edwin and Fatu have mentioned here that was done with the help of the UNCDF shows that over 70% of Gambians are aware of mobile money being available and the service being out there. They may not understand it or have using it, but they're aware. So we have the accessibility at over 95%. We have the awareness at over 70%. So what is next in terms of usage?
Fatu Touray, Director of Financial Services at the Central Bank of the Gambia, revealed that they are collaborating with financial service providers to make access to accurate data a reality. However, she adds that Central Bank looks forward to drafting a policy document on financial inclusion in May this year.
One of the key areas that we need to really do a lot of work is the area of data, thank God, with the assistance of UNCDF, we have conducted a demand-side survey called the FinScope survey. And the FinScope survey has given us an indication of the level of exclusion in the country.
Speaking earlier, Touray, one of 4 researchers who conducted the study, explains why financial inclusion remains low in the Gambia despite mobile money initiatives.
They focused on the cost part. Basically, we wanted to know if cost was one of the reasons why people were not actually using it. But then later on, we realized that it's not actually cost per se, but information was another thing. People were not very, very informed well, or they don't understand the services properly for them to be able to use it the way they want it.
Representing the UN Capital Development Fund, Edwin Mensah says in order to promote financial inclusion, it is important to create employment opportunities for young people. He explained how digital financial services can be used to reduce poverty, thereby improving the status of the SDGs in the Gambia. We now take a short commercial break. When we come back, in international news, we hear about a ship which trawls the Mediterranean rescuing stranded migrants. And we hear how an activist in Turkey is rearrested and hit with a different charge minutes after being acquitted. Join us after the break for these stories and more, as well as sports news.
QCell is at it again with its brand new free mobile app.
Oh yes! Now you can access the wonderful world of QCell with the new app and get all your favorite services on the app. There's no need to remember any codes.
Fantastic! No more codes. And even better, with the new app, you can live stream QTV and listen to Q Radio on your phone, anywhere, anytime.
Yes! Listen to Q Radio Live, purchase your Q Power tokens, use your Q Money wallet, and do much more, all for free on the app.
Go now and download the app for free from Play Store or the App Store.
And you can get 30 days free QTV streaming once you download the app. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's because it's QCell, the network you trust for great things. QCell, a decade of innovation.
A lifetime of trust.
Right time, right place, right price. Promote your product, business, and brand to millions of viewers nationwide or across the globe. Call QTV Marketing on 32-44444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm for all your advertisement needs. QTV Gambia, right place.
Welcome back, and now on to international news. One day after we reported on the surprising acquittal of 9 people accused over the 2013 Gezi Park incident in Istanbul, there has been a dramatic twist in the story. Turkish authorities appear determined to ensure businessman and human rights activist Osman Kavala is convicted of something. A judge had ruled there was no evidence against Kavala and 8 fellow accused over a 2013 protest. However, Istanbul prosecutors have now issued a new warrant for his arrest, this time on charges of being involved in a 2016 coup attempt against the Erdogan government. There has been international condemnation of the arrest, as it appears already had charges prepared in the event he was acquitted over the 2013 incident. Also in international news, many people undertake the perilous journey from northern Africa across the Mediterranean Sea, hoping for a better life in Europe. A reporter recently went on board the Ocean Viking, a ship that rescues migrants off the Libyan coast. The ship operates 130 kilometers off the Libyan coast, an area recognized as being in international waters. As Border Patrol pilots alerted the volunteers on the ship, they moved in to rescue an overcrowded wooden boat carried 84 young men. 20 of the men are aged under 18 years and are found to be from Algeria, Bangladesh, Somalia, and Morocco and the Gambia. After being rescued, they were all examined by a team of volunteer doctors. In sports news, some of the world's greatest athletes gathered in Berlin over the weekend for the 20th anniversary of the annual Laureus World Sports Awards. Although there were few surprises, something unusual did happen in the men's category. For the first time ever, that there was a tie for the World Sportsman of the Year award, with Lionel Messi and Lewis Hamilton sharing the award. In sharing the win, Messi thus becomes the first footballer to win the award. Simone Biles, the African-American gymnast, who is also the Olympic and world champion, won the women's award for the third time. South Africa's rugby team, led by their first ever black captain, won the Team of the Year award. And before we end this bulletin of the news, here's a recap for our main headlines. In local news, the Gambia Transport Union rescinds its decision to prevent Senegalese commercial vehicles entering the Gambia from midnight tonight. The president of the Supreme Islamic Council, Muhammed Lamin Touray, tells the TRRC that his only problem with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is about them calling themselves Muslims. Residents of Salagi effected a citizen's arrest of a man they allege tried to rape a local woman. In international news, a volunteer ship cruises the Mediterranean, picking up stranded migrants. In Turkey, businessman and human rights activist Osman Kavala is re-arrested on different charges minutes after his acquittal. In sports, we heard who came out winners at this year's prestigious Laureus World Sports Awards. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of the news. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the entire production team, bye-bye. Join us tomorrow for more news.